Hello, and welcome to Japanese Craft Beer Reviews. Today we're going to take a look at a beer from a brewery which you may not have heard of, which I haven't actually thought of much in the last several years, but their beers suddenly appeared in the store, like 12 of them, and it was quite a surprise. And that brewery is Doppo Beer in Okayama, which is located in the central part of Japan. Between, let's say, between Osaka and Hiroshima. And it is, the main company is宮下Sake Brewery Company Limited, and they have been producing sake for a long time, since 1915, so over 100 years. And they started producing beer in 1995, and so they claim that they are one of the, what do they call it, the pioneer of craft Japanese microbrewery. On their website, they claim that they're the 9th micro to open in Japan. That's possible. I really don't know exactly. But around 1994, the tax laws changed, and a lot of people started deciding to open microbreweries at that time. It was called the first wave of Japanese micros. And so in 1995, they opened a brewery in Korakuen, and for naming their brewery, the beer brewery, they've been a sake brewery, of course. For naming the beer brewery, they put out a call for names, and they got 3,000 suggestions, and they chose the name Doppo, and Doppo is these two characters here, and this is the character that's used in the name of the country Germany, Doitsu, and the together they can mean independence, Dokuritsu, Doppo Dokuritsu, and so one of the things was that they were trying to put out German-style beers, and so the Do became an important part of their name, and so 3,000 choices, and they chose that one, and their goal was to brew traditional German-type beers, German-style beers, and if you've been drinking craft beer in Japan for a while, you're probably aware that many of the early craft breweries decided to do German style. So all of them made a Pils, an Alt, maybe a Weizen, something like that. So later craft brewers didn't really stick to that line so much, but early ones did. And in fact, beer was started in Japan, by German breweries. Spring Valley in Yokohama and Sapporo in Hokkaido. So a lot of people, even to this day, still associate beer with Germany. So, but Doppo has been around for a while, and I haven't had any of them for quite a while, so I thought I would give them a go. And we're going to start with several beers. I've got, I think, 10, so I will have a playlist of Doppo beers, so give them a look. And now let's look at another beer from Doppo Brewery in Okayama, and it's this one. It's called Doppo Sparkling Beer. It's a wheat ale at 5%. ABV, and on Rate Beer this one has 4 ratings only at an average of 2.92, and Untapped there were 36 ratings when I looked, and the average was 3.15, a few ticks higher, which is typical for Untapped. This is a 330 milliliter bottle as opposed to a 350, which is the normal can size here. This costs 450 yen, so it was 50 yen higher than most of the other Doppo beers that I got, and that's probably around current rates, maybe about $3.80 or so. And I have had this before, but it's been about 7 years since I had it, and I'll tell you about it, and I'll tell you what I rated it earlier. So this is a sparkling beer, and I'm not sure what the sparkling is about, but in any case, it has German barley malt and German wheat malt, domestic Japanese rice, and hops. And I'm not sure about the yeast, but let's give this one a go, shall we? So far, the Doppo beers I've looked at, I've been impressed with the baseline of the Pilsner, the Dunkel, and the Schwarz. Some of the special ones, with the fruited ones, I didn't really care for so much. The Yuzu and the wheat ale. But let's try this one out and see. A wheat ale. It's very clear and small carbonation rising up through the glass, and a slight bit of chill haze maybe. A nice fluffy finger of white foam. Okay, so Rate Beer calls this a wheat ale, and I'm kind of thinking it's more like a wit beer. It does have a weedy nose, kind of spicy. Some spicy hopping, light esters, wheat esters rising. Flavor is somewhat similar, with a sharp hit of bitterness in mid palate, kind of a little stronger than I would expect, but not unpleasant at all. I mean, it's nice. Sparkling, I don't know. It does have considerable carbonation. You can't see it rising as much as I can here. Let me see if I can show that to you. You can see the carbonation coming up here. Not as much as a Hefeweizen or anything like that. Kind of guessing that this is probably just a filtered Hefeweizen, something similar to that. Yeah, it's not unpleasant. I rated this 2.8 7 years ago. I got some peach, some yeast, some esters. Very sweet initial, very small bitterness. The bitterness seems a bit stronger now. It does have a kind of crisp kick of carbonation in mid palate, which I guess is a sparkling element, but this is not a bad beer, not exceptional. Yeah, give it a go if you happen to see it, and it is around in Yamaya stores throughout Japan. So give it a try and tell me what you think. Okay, it's tolerable, definitely. Okay, that's it, and we've got a few more beers to look at. There is a playlist of Doppo brewery beers, and so you can check out some of those if you like. Take care. Bye bye.